What's up, y'all? We're back again. Video 74. No, yeah, 74. 74 is 2 times 37. I got to do some number stuff at the beginning of all these. 74 is 2 times 37, which we briefly referenced yesterday. So then there's a connection between 74 and the letters G and D, right, for God, right? Then, okay, if you look at the number 7 and the number 4, anyone who's into vortex math will know this, but yeah, 7 and 4 are kind of opposites. They're like inverses of each other. And if you write the numerals a certain way, you can see that they're inverted and mirror flipped versions of each other. One represents 7 is Saturn, 4 is Jupiter. I could go so many details about that, but I'll just leave it there because that's not, well, 7 plus 4 is 11, right? So that brings us to our topic today. Magic, wizarding for prosperity, partnerships, and love. So this is great stuff, okay? They're all connected. I mean, if anyone watched yesterday's video, you may be beginning to understand what that's all about. So here I'm trying to create us a little rune space here to work with. Okay, first we got to declare intent. The intent of this is to benefit all beings, living and dead, friends and foes, above and below. Desired and reviled, everything, blessing in all directions. I dedicate my body, I dedicate my mind, I dedicate my mental focus, I dedicate my body's energy, I dedicate all the wisdom and the ancestors that flows through me, omnidirectional throughout time to bless every being and benefit all beings and restore the balance between the man and the woman to bring love, prosperity, life-giving power, natural force that ties all reality together and brings universal harmony and bliss. So if you listen to what I just said, most people would not think their life is like that right now. And so I'm a Buddhist, so we believe in cause and effect. And if your life and your world is not like that right now, it's because of your patterns of how you live your life and what you say and how you think and your physical actions that you perform. Because chances are, if you're watching this, you're Babylon programming, okay? Looking on the internet, no matter how many fans and likes and clicks you get, and how much of a state of low-grade sexual arousal mixed with frustration you ever experience on the internet, that's never going to create life. It's a death cult, okay? It's sapping away your vital force, your life, your time, your energy, and it's giving you nothing. Try to bust a nut all over a robot and see where that gets you, or a fucking circuit board. Bust a nut on it all day. It's never going to create life. I'm sorry to you if that's how you live. If you're seeking joy through your phone and through these internet things, you're in prison. You're in jail. And I'll explain why. And there's a very clear explanation. Now, everything I do comes from the ancestral power that flows through me. Okay? And the ancestors were so gracious and kind and so incredibly wise that they bequested me everything I need to create bliss and to renew the life of the universe. And it's very simple. And it involves things that no one remembers or cares about anymore, which is letters, words, sounds, vibrations, and the creative power of divine force that we all possess. No one cares about that anymore. Everyone's looking at porno. Everyone's looking at products to buy. When everyone thinks about Valentine's Day and their true love and all this stuff, they're thinking about products they can buy and costumes they could wear and makeup they could put on their face to pretend to be something they're not and deceive. So what kind of partner are you going to attract with that? It's not going to work out. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be wise. You're not going to create life that way ever, ever, ever. And I'm going to explain why. And it's very simple. And it has to do with many of the things that we presented yesterday. Okay? What is love? You know, love is this blissful feeling of creative power and connectivity that we feel with the life force, okay? That's what makes us joyful, and that's what makes us happy, okay? If you're in a non-procreative concept with your sexual energy, your life force, and there's no possibility of procreating, like think about this simple example everyone can relate to. Think about condoms, okay? You go to have sex and you put on a condom, okay? What does that tell you? Number one, it tells you you're not really ready to procreate with this person. You don't trust them to be a parent, and you don't feel safe with them. You think they probably have some STDs. So why are you fucking this person? Hello? Come on. Those are all signs that this is not appropriate for you, okay? This is not something you should be doing. Our whole culture is Babylon, and it worships non-procreative sexuality and the sapping and draining away of the life force of every person in a non-procreative, non-joy-producing, non-health-producing process, okay? If that weren't the case, how does our economy continue? Why is everyone spending money and buying products and trying to change their image and cover their face and give deceptions and dye their hair blue and pink and green? They would never need that if they had love, if they knew what love and procreation was, and if they knew how to correctly use their sexual force and their energy for bliss, for brilliant intelligence, prophecy, power, magical will, and to create a perfect Edenic world. If they knew any of that, none of these things and our society could not exist. And so we exist in a state of counterfeit sexuality, of the robosexual, pornography, and every form of perverted non-procreative sexual force is glorified, rewarded, and you'll get $1 million if you're perverted enough to be Nicki Minaj or somebody like that, or Jim Morrison, or some person who's willing to go out and promote perverted sexuality and promiscuity and STDs and every kind of drug and alcohol abuse, and be worshipped and revered and given millions of dollars in jet planes and fur coats and everything, and have 1 million pictures taken of them everywhere, gratifying their narcissistic wish fulfillment. They're willing to be a bitch-made slave for the Illuminati and pollute the future. That's sad. That's terrible. And everyone worships these kind of people, okay? They worship degeneracy and corruption. So does that seem bad? It seems bad to me. And I think that's why our world is so fucked up and everyone's unhappy. And even the richest person is fucking miserable. Prince Andrew is out there trying to fuck underage girls on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Why is that the case? He's a prince. He has billions of fucking dollars. Theoretically, he should be able to have as many wives and babies as he wants. But he can't. You know why? Because he's a fucking degenerate pervert and no one wants to be around him, no matter how many millions of fucking dollars he has. And these are the people that run this fucking planet. And no one cares or knows about it because they're too stupid and they're focusing on pornography and nonsense and product placement and fucking consumer slavery. So how do we end this? And the simple answer is very fucking basic, and it's called joy. It's called bliss, okay? We have this in the runic alphabet. Keep in mind, all of these are inverted in these videos. They show backwards mirror of how they are. But let me show you. That's Wunjo, right? It looks kind of like a P. But basically, it's a W sound. Wunjo comes from a related word, win, which means friend. W-Y-N-N. It means a friend, an ally, a beloved person. Someone who, whenever you see them or encounter them, you feel a sense of bliss, okay? So to understand Wunjo and this rune of joy, bliss, and pleasure, okay? This is the key to everything. So let's look at the other relation. Like, to see this in context, we look at some related things, okay? So we take that rune and we flip it upside down, right? Right? I don't know how well these are showing. But basically, one has the little point at the top and one has it at the bottom. Okay, we're trying to get to the one where it's at the top, right here. Okay, we're trying to get there. We're trying to move our bliss from the animalistic state into the intellectual, visionary, prophetic state up here. Okay, how do you do that? You have to bypass all the counterfeits. Okay, and to explain that, it's very simple. Okay, look at the upside down one, the points at the bottom. That's taking a shit. That's taking a piss. That's purging something below. That's taking something corrupt and degraded, a waste product, and pushing it out through the bottom, okay? That's how most people are with their sexuality and with their entire life and with all their life force and energy, and their intellectual force or lack thereof in most cases is completely dissipated. They can't form a complete sentence. They cannot formulate logical propositions and use critical thinking skills and analyze information. They're just a constant sewer of fucking regurgitated stupid memes that never made any sense to begin with, which they don't even understand. They just replicate them because that seems cute to them. It triggers some unconscious thing in their psyche and they just replicate it like a nanobot. That's fucking sad. But we're not focusing on that. We're flipping it. We're healing everything, and we're bringing it back to Wunjo and friendship and bliss. Okay? I'm just going to say it in a clear, simple way. That letter is when you bring your electric magnetic force up to here and you create at will through your power, through your vision of a beautiful, blissful, Edenic future in a harmonious society of positive connections. You create at will and you attract, okay? If someone's sitting here being like, oh, where's my Valentine? Where's my love? Where's my true love and my Prince Charming or my Princess Super Mario, like Princess Zelda or whatever. Like, you know why you don't have that? Because you're not projecting it. You're not creating it at will. You're not projecting the bliss energy of positive, beautiful, friendly, loving focus, omnidirectional, completely free of a scarcity mindset. Lifting your energy above all the material deceptions and decoys of the robot sex fembot with fucking machine guns coming out of her titties. That's, Austin Powers was trying to tell you something right there. That force, the fembot, is going to try and distract you every step of the way and pull your energy into something non-procreative that does not give life and reinforce the life web of creation. And you got to defeat it 7 times every day of the week. You got to defeat each one of the planetary energy deceptions of the archons, and you got to get your serpent power aroused, truly aroused, not in a sexual way, but in a way of divine creative power transcending time, space, and materiality. Okay? So now, as yesterday, we talked about the manas, how if you take 2 Wunjos tip to tip, it creates manas, which is humanity, positive human relations, community, healthy society, healthy world. So that's when 2 people share a common vision from here, and they co-create it through the magical, universal blend of masculine and feminine power, okay? Through their bliss, through cultivating internal bliss, they attract their perfect mate and their perfect partner who is exactly as capable, powerful, strong, intelligent, wealthy, benevolent, wise. You attract the mirror of you, and the bliss that you project here, you will attract. So if you got fucked up relationships, you abusive relationships, it's because you sought out someone weak, and they sought out someone weak. They're like, I need someone weaker that I can exploit, and I can use their weakness to manipulate their behavior and to control them and to have them as my slave and my bound concubine, just here to service me in the ways that I need. Men and women both do this, okay? Everyone knows the henpecked husband who's been fucking traumatized through neuro-linguistic programming and constant nagging, and his life force is gone and his dick is all withered up and he has no fucking power, okay? And so the wife has nothing but contempt for him at that point. So that's why you got to get it up here. You got to rise above the will to dominate, okay? You got to rise above the will for materialism and to deceive with all these makeup and costumes and fucking deceptions, trying to present as something you're not. Forget the outer surface and go within. To rise the power up to here, you got to go up the center, the absolute axis point through which all motion, power, and force and speech and everything emerges from the empty center. Okay, you have to create that empty center and elevate the bliss. So there's 3 stages. Okay, there's the Wunjo, that's the first stage, or that's the highest stage, right? Then there's a middle stage, which I didn't show you, and that's called Thurisaz, and that's Thor's hammer. Okay, the point is your cock and the 2 ends are your balls. That's the cock and balls. Okay, that's how you conquer the frost giants, right? The frost giants are these fucking gnarly beings that freeze and solidify and bring everything into stasis and lifelessness, and they create a vast uniformity of ice and frozen fucking tundra where no life can flourish and no sprouts of fray can burst through the soil. So your cock and balls is supposed to melt the ice, but you don't keep it there. That's a certain phase in the middle of the process, right? That's not where it's supposed to stay. You got to bring it up to the top. And I know I'm saying cock and balls, and that's like a masculine thing, but for women, they have the same thing. They have an internal power that can destroy and break up blockages and bad negative patterns, okay? So we're creating bliss. We're healing the world. Right now, we're going to do this Valentine's love ritual, and we're creating the web of weird, which you should all be familiar with right now. But we're going to bliss it out. We're going to put these little Wunjos on every spike. We're going to create a blissful network for the universe, for everyone to join together and feel bliss together and cooperate with their common vision of bliss, beauty, and an Edenic future through love and individuality.